when you're from Boston and you grow up in a certain neighborhood, kids from different neighborhoods, whether you're from there or not, they still won't like you. So me just growing up in a certain neighborhood, I ran into certain kids, so I would always have to beef. And I think one of the DYS workers set me up for some reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I ended up setting it off on him, and that's when the BPD came, when I was about 17. And they was like, yeah, you're about to be considered an adult now. As soon as you turn, we're going to try you as an adult. And my first charge as an adult was assault and battery.
Ain't got a moment when they see you down, just know they love it all.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Bounce Back Podcast. I'm your host, B. Luke. I got a special guest with me today. So why don't you tell the people your name, where you're from, and a little bit about yourself.
First and foremost, I'm Frank BeenG, BEENG. I'm on all platforms. I'm from Boston. I grew up in the Dorchester community. I've been through the real nigga shit that niggas go through in everyday life, and I'm still going through it.
Absolutely, it
What's
don't
up?
stop. You
What's
just
the
got
word with y'all? How y'all feeling?
Like you said, it don't ever really stop. We always gonna be going through it. We just hopefully could get better with handling life on life's terms as we go, man. So you've been on the grind lately with the music, man. Why don't you talk about that? You got some videos, you got some songs out. I see you got the
Yeah, I'm
thing
dropping
with
every
Miz
day,
and everything.
man. Yeah, me and Miz, my man more busy, you know what I mean? We dropping and working. I just dropped You're Dead. I dropped Resurrected. I'm doing a little bit of different stuff. I might drop on my YouTube channel. Then I might drop on the Topic channel, or I might tease you. I do different things. I don't like, you know what I mean? I don't follow the trends and none of that.
You gotta see what works.
I mean, and I'm just trying to give different sounds and whatever I think the people like. I'm doing music for the people. I'm just trying to give different type of versatilities and stuff like that.
Where else can they find the music? You on SoundCloud and everything as well?
Yeah, I'm everywhere. I'm on Pandora. I'm on iHeartRadio. I'm on Spotify. I'm on YouTube. I'm distributing through DistroKids. Trying to really figure out how to get through JPay. Free the jails, you know what I mean? Free the real.
Yeah, tell the people
like
who may not know about JPay. What's that about?
Well, JPay is for the ones who's in the jails that can have access to their music, whether it's through their tablets or whatever way they get access to, you know. I mean, I'm from Suffolk County. I did Suffolk County. I went upstate DOC, so we get tablets and things of that nature. So we get access to the music that we get to listen to out here in the free cipher.
Why is that important that you want to get it in the jails and have those people hear that in there?
That's where it started for me, bro. This music stuff and where I'm going at right now, the focus has started because the dudes that I met that are in jail, it started in the jail. So my mission is to speak for the jails, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And the brothers of the struggle in the urban communities, the shit that we both go through. I mean,
is that where you and Mort Beezy had met?
True indeed. Me and Mort Beezy, we met in Nashville Street.
Okay.
Me and Mort Beezy, we met in Nashville Street. He was attempting to do what he did now to free himself, and I was I think I was fighting the gun charge that I'm fighting right now.
Okay.
Before I bailed out, I'm out on bail right now. So yeah, that's why I met Mort Beezy in 2022.
Talk about what it was like to grow up. You said the Dorchester part of Boston? So why don't you tell the people what that's like?
All of Dorchester, first and foremost, you know what I mean? My family's from the Point. You know what I mean? We had people that lived in Mission, Academy, Terror Homes, and I was basically all over. I'm a system kid, so I was in the system, and I grew up all over Dorchester, like Blue Hill, nearby Matted Pen, like the Fuller Street area, Carmen Square, Harvard Street area, you know, all of that. That whole area of Dorchester is where I basically grew up at. Devon, wherever.
Okay.
Grove Hall, like the whole Dorchester is just, that's my community. That's what I represent.
What's going on at home, bro? You got any brothers and sisters? You got both parents in the house?
I live by myself, and I grew up in a broken home, you know. No father, you know what I mean? Mother, alcoholic. Part of stuff. Mother alcoholic abuse, you know, she's clean now, and it was hard.
Yeah.
what we know now, trying to get money and maintain, sustain life is I didn't know that
Right.
growing up. I mean, it was a good cover up for my mother, and she did a great job to basically teach me about having self-confidence and dignity and morals and stuff like that. Like, I mean, it was tough, but it made me what I am now. And at first, I had a lot of resentment against my parents.
Yeah.
But as I grew older and really came into who I am and my view on life, I'm like, yeah, man, it's just what happens in life.
Exactly.
Every parent that loves their children, they strive and they put their best foot forth. So I think my mother did that.
Was she a young parent when she got pregnant?
Yes. My mother was very young, and I was basically adopted by the age of 3 years old.
Was that like family members that took you in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, like the cousin side of my mother's side and stuff like that. So basically. Adopted homes, group homes, residentials. I think of the DMX bar when he said group homes and institutions prepare my ass for jail. You know what I mean?
Slipping.
Yeah, that's right. So that's basically how I basically grew up and shit.
And when we're young, we don't realize too, especially sometimes with like having young parents, how young they actually are until we get to a certain age and kind of look back. You know what I mean? Like that's how I look at it with my mom. She was 16 when she got pregnant
my mother was 15. My father was 15.
Yeah, and I'm like at that era, I'm like, damn, my mom was a teenager in the mid 80s. You know, it was a wild time, and you know they did the best. They do the best they can.
Yeah.
You know, with the hand they're dealt.
All right.
So with all that going on, and you're switching through different people's homes and then in and out of the institutional thing, like how were you doing? I guess more so the early years, like with school. How does that work?
School, I didn't even finish school, but I consider myself highly educated and intelligent. Like,
So what about like the early years of school, first, second grade? What's going on there?
I loved school, but once I figured out the curriculum and I started getting involved with my peers and stuff in the community that I lived by, like school was a wrap for school.
What about sports or anything like that? You in the sports in the community and everything?
Yeah, I still like I recommend my young children in the community that want to play football, soccer, baseball, whatever it is in sports, go do that. That's one of the ways out for us, and man, I love sports. And I grew up playing a lot of sports. I grew up playing basketball on the crate hoops.
Okay.
We used to play the hit and roll with the wiffle ball bats, hit it, you roll it back and see me take turns. I did the street hockey thing.
Yep.
I did all type of sports. I'm an athlete.
Yeah, that's
I love sports.
So what do you think of like some good benefits for the youth to get, why they should get involved with sports?
Because I think, for me, I think music and sports go hand in hand, and a lot of us that chose the music route we did that because the streets were involved. So I think sports is what keeps you out of trouble, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, the kids that think ball is life, that's what's gonna keep them out of trouble. And I have a lot of like cousins and a lot of youth that are in my family that are involved in the sports, and they're not nowhere near close to dealing with the lifestyle that I had to deal with.
Yep. And I think too, another benefit is like that brotherhood. I still, cool with dudes I played sports with when I was 10 years old. We'll always have that together. So it's a good, especially nowadays, kids need to get out there socially. I know a lot of them got messed up with COVID and not really having the same social environment that we might have came up in and everything. So do you end up kind of acting out in school? You got a lot going on at home. Do you get in trouble at school? Any fights or any detentions or suspensions?
all of that. Expelled, you know. I had a lot of fights. I was very aggressive and stuff like that. Once I found out that I was in a situation as far as family and stuff like that, when I was that young, I just I became careless. I didn't care anymore. I was always quick to fight anyone that wanted to fight. I didn't care about size or none of that. I grew up wild and reckless. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I would grow up very immature too. And I don't know, that's, I guess that's part of the some of the kids' lifestyles when they're going through what I went through.
Absolutely.
So, you know what I mean?
It's totally understandable too.
But yeah, I did a lot of fighting, a lot of skipping schools. I got suspended from school for fighting with the teachers and stuff like that. My mother would come into the class and I'd have the only desk turned towards the teacher, and everybody else's desk is turned the opposite way, and I'm like, nah, they're all being bad. I'm the only one being good.
You think they ever try to figure out like why you had all this anger, or is it more just about let's punish this kid?
I don't know. I can't say if they were wanting to punish me or to say. I don't know if they wanted to figure it out neither.
Did you ever feel like you had any teachers or counselors maybe in school that seemed like they might have cared?
Nah. I think everyone that I ran to, as far as, I could probably say my teacher in middle school, Miss Wilson, was probably like the only good, memorable teacher that I think truly cared. I mean, other than that, I didn't think any of my teachers. During my era, the teachers used to put hands on us.
Right.
They used to put hands on us and that ruler on us in the schools that I was coming up in.
So what schools did you go to for, people?
I went to the Deva. I went to the McKinley.
Okay.
When I got kicked out of Boston public schools, I went to end up in Millbury High. I mean, I was all over.
Okay.
I mean, until like the 11th grade, and then from St. Vincent's home, that was like the last place I probably went to school at in Fall River.
When does like the cops get involved? When you start getting in trouble with the law?
It's a good question. I've probably been in trouble with the law ever since I was about 11, 12, 13 years old.
Yeah.
I was put away in a place where, in St. Vincent's home in Fall River, that place that I just mentioned, I was put away, and I remember being there before the Twin Towers was even dropped.
Right.
I mean, I woke up one day and I'm amazed that I'm looking at the news and there's 2 planes being smoking. I mean, that changed my life. So even at that time, I was going through the system.
What was that experience like there at St. Vincent's?
A lot of fights, a lot of aggressive peers around me, which molded me into be aggressive as well. Kids tried to pick on me and I didn't, so I had to not go for it and stuff like that. And it was like basically to build structure and stuff for the misfit and the speds or the misbehave. Yeah. I mean, and stuff like that. So, I mean, yes, they had schooling and stuff like that. Academically, I'm up there academically. I'm behavioral, so
yeah.
I go off the flow of things. So if I feel like the flow isn't there, my flow isn't gonna be there.
Okay. So was that like a foster?
That was residential.
Residential?
Yeah, that was a residential.
Do the DYS thing in juvenile and everything like that. Is that too long after that?
That was right after that. As soon as they released me from there, around like 2004, 5 is when they sent me into the DYS on High Park Ave. It was called like Elliott or something like that. I was like one of the first kids there.
Okay.
I mean, and that's where it started out for DYS. And then to answer the question for a circle, there is when I started running into certain kids because of the neighborhood that I grew up in. I mean, that when you're from Boston and you grow up in a certain neighborhood, kids from different neighborhoods, whether you're from there or not, they still won't like you. So me just growing up in a certain neighborhood, I ran into certain kids, so I would always have to beef. And I think one of the DYS workers set me up for some reason. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I ended up setting it off on him, and that's when the BPD came, when I was about 17. And they was like, yeah, you're about to be considered an adult now. As soon as you turn, we're going to try you as an adult. And my first charge as an adult was assault and battery. Assault and battery on the staff member, yeah. In the DYS program.
So you didn't really so when you were at St. Vincent's, was that more kids from down that area, New Bedford, Fall River?
Yeah, that was kids from all over.
All over?
Yeah, like I even had a couple cousins that ran through.
But then when you went out there?
It was kids from all over, Boston, Brockton, Fall River, New Bedford, Worcester kids. I met kids from all over in that.
I mean, what are you thinking about getting charged with that, especially where you feel like, that the staff member set you up? Do you feel like you kind of got a raw deal out of that, or it just is what it is?
Hey, I love my life. I feel like I could be a lot better of a person and every day leveling up and becoming a better man. But I feel like if I didn't go through that, I probably would have been somewhere wouldn't like.
Yeah.
I mean,
So what ends up happening? You age out, and then you still got this open case, the adult case now, or
I aged out now. So now, from the Hyde Park DYS joint, they put me in like a foster home or some sort on Fuller Street. From there, I used to just be on the run or whatever, ducking probation and stuff like that. And that's when I ended up catching the armed robbery, and it took a toll on the whole ride up top.
was that? Where'd you catch that case? Was that in Boston?
Yeah, I caught that case 2007 and around Ashmont Station, the old Ashmont.
Pretty much what? Now you're in Nashville
Made the
Street
news.
and everything?
Yeah, I'm in Nashville Street. Well, at the time, 161 was Nashville Street status in South Bay.
Yep.
But I'm in jailed.
Trial, yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Pre-trial. So, yeah, that was that. I caught a charge around that time, around 2007. Caught an armed robbery. Ended up doing 2.5 in the Bay. Coming home, violating probation, assault and battery, and I ended up going upstate for a whole 5-piece.
That county bid first. Do you end up hitting like the minimum? They got CWP in Suffolk, correct, right? Work release. Do you end up hitting any of those stops or
Periodically, yeah.
catch a lug back?
Yeah, right, exactly. So at first, I sat waiting, getting hit. I wasn't hip to the jail politics or
Right.
how it works at first. So I ended up getting a runner's job later on, and then they moved me over to back to Nash when it was 6-4, the kitchen unit. I was working up there for like 8 months. Then I got sent back. I got lugged back because just CO.
Now, did you have a parole bid? Did you see?
Yeah, I had a parole bid as well. Yes, I had I was sentenced to 2.5 soft, and I ended up doing like 2 years or something like that, and I got out on parole.
Okay.
Oh man, right. I got out on parole in like 2009.
Did you complete it, the parole, or did you have
No,
to go
I did
back
not.
and finish it? Yeah, go
No.
back and finish it. Is that what? Did you catch that?
I'm not a
other
good.
Case
I'm
on
not.
parole?
I've never completed no probation or no parole. I'm not a good candidate for that.
Hey, that's how I felt when
I
I was.
take
I
wrap-ups
finally
now.
just completed the probation like a couple years ago, but
Yeah,
I was the same way. Yeah, when I
I've
was
never
younger.
completed no probation or parole. I'm not a good candidate for it, and I don't take beds. Now I beat cases a lot. After learning that, I beat a lot of cases. Like my record is
So now,
stringent.
so talk about that. So now you don't do the whole let me plead out thing. You taking things.
Well, recently I pled out, and there's tricks to this where dudes might not know. And the trick is now, from my perspective and my point of view, I could be wrong, but I don't know if anyone else sees this. We're starting to get them back as far as hitting the system off. We're starting to get the time back, getting free, and taking a lot of stuff to trial. So now, the trick is, they'll have you sitting, court date. I sat almost 2 years one time.
Right.
I mean, I was hurting on my first bid. I didn't have it how I have it now. I might sit comfortable with a bag or some commissary, but before I was sitting, so now I know the trick. I figured it out. So recently I pled out to a 6 months bid. I mean, I wrapped that bid up, but right now, before that, I went 17 years of no guilty cases.
So talk about that state bid. What happens? You pled out to that, the 5 years?
No, that was a probation violation.
Probation violation.
Yeah.
Okay. So talk about that journey. Where's the first stop? Where's classification at the time?
DOC 2009. Classification was Walpole at that time. I spent like 55 days in Walpole.
Okay.
At that time, and then I went to Concord, MCI Concord. See the Junction's Walpole. I went to MCI Concord.
Right. Okay. So like 2009, 2010.
February 23rd, 2010 is when I touched Concord.
Okay.
I went to the West
we
Up.
was up there together. I got out in 2011. I was in J2.
I was there for the duration.
Yeah. Okay.
I went through all the J's, the L's, the mods, all over. I went through all over the jails.
Did you do your whole time, the rest of your time in Concord?
I went to the farm.
Oh, you went to, okay, so you see, so tell people how that works. You go in front of classification and you have minimum points?
So, okay, so it sucks. I mean, and depending on your charge, whoever you are. So I have a gun charge, you know, playing with firearms and stuff like that. And I've done every program. I mean, I got class 2 Norfolk, but then I got modified to Concord. I guess depending on how they see you fit or your STG points or whatever like that, you fit a certain level, like minimum status, medium, max, or super max, whatever it is, you fit your point level. I mean, they go by a point level. You have a your point level. So depending on your charges, your age and stuff like that, you got to go through that whole system. And sometimes it could take years.
Yeah.
It could take forever. So I didn't get classed out of that minimum, that medium into the minimum until like maybe like 9-10 months left of my bid.
Okay.
I mean, so I did basically 4 years behind the wall, and like the rest of my bid, I did it in the minimum in Concord Farm.
So when you start to get close to that release date, are you doing like reentry programs? You start formulating a plan for your release, or
I was
what's
doing
your mind state?
everything.
So you were planning to get out, try to do the right thing.
I was planning on doing everything because I felt like, first and foremost, I'm charged and they're violating me on probation for something that I didn't even do.
Right.
So, you know, the rule is even if you catch a new charge, you're violated.
Doesn't matter,
you know what I
right.
mean? I beat the new charge or whatever, and I'm sitting there and I'm trying to get out. So I'm trying to show them that I'm really a changed man regardless. You know what I mean? You're viewing me as whatever you're viewing me as. You're labeling me as you're labeling whatever label. So I'm trying to do I've done every program in Concord Farm. I went to the parole board, denied. So I just ended up wrapping the bid up. You know what I mean? So I was doing a GD program, cognitive thinking. I qualify for alternative violence right now. I'm AVP. I mean, I'm actually certified to avoid like alternatives other than to having violence around. You know what I mean? I'm a problem solver. So I've done, like, it taught me a lot.
Okay.
Toastmasters and things of that nature, you know. I've done whatever it is that would help me brain food and get my mental up, I would do it.
If you had a favorite program out of all those, would it be the Toastmasters? Which one would it be, in your opinion?
I love AVP.
Okay.
I mean, I love AVP. I like what it's about, and yeah, I just love the alternative violence program. That's the best one I've ran
situations.
into.
You know, you can save that could save someone's life.
Yes.
That could save you from doing a life
bid.
So I mean, I feel like that's important, especially for the community too. So doing that bid, I mean, that's a nickel. That's a bid, man. That's a, you know. I know some people come up here and they got 30-something years, but man, 5 years, that's still a long time. So I guess talk to me. What are some things that you learned about yourself during those 5 years?
Man, I learned a lot about myself. Like, I learned that I'm very patient. I learned that I'm very self-reliant, that a lot of stuff that I didn't think that I could do. I didn't never think I'd finish a book from the beginning to the end and actually fall in love with it, then go back and actually have a deep conversation over a book. So, I mean, those type of things you learn in jail. You learn your self-spirituality. You know what I mean? I'll do all that, breathing. I'm whatever it is to learn about myself, I'm on it.
Meditation,
I mean, I'm tapped into the senses, my chakras, all of that. I mean, I learned all of this through jail. I don't think I would have learned any of the things that I utilize in everyday life if it wasn't for the penal system.
Right. Is that when you start to get deeper with the music as well? Is that you start to rekindle that fire, or has that always been?
Yeah, man, I could say so. I think I wrote some hits out here, but I think a lot of the music that people like, or when I get deep, it's from behind the wall. Because I got time to actually sit down and I can scream this bitch out. I can yell out in this cell and do all the different type of baritones and sound bites, and every different voice that I hear in my head, I can give this feeling and hear it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, that's where some of my best craft comes out.
Yeah,
I mean, but you know, we in a free world now, and that's behind us. I'm trying to make classics out here. I mean,
Absolutely.
well, I will. We ain't gonna try. We will.
All right, so talk about, I always like to ask, like, what's the worst part about prison? You know, a lot of things get, you know, we want to try to guide the youth to stay away from and not make the mistakes maybe that we might. So if you wanted to talk to, I don't know, little cousin or something like that, whoever, like, just to try to tell them that's not where you want to be. Like, what are some things you would say?
There's many worst parts about prison, man. One of the OG told me, man, you're gonna be four things, or one of the four things, or all four. You know what I mean? Or broken down. And those four things, you're either gonna be successful by the time you come home, you're gonna be an addict, you know what I mean? You're gonna be gay, or you just gonna be lost in the sauce. Going back, what's the word, recidivism?
Yep, absolutely.
You're gonna be going back. So, man, I think the worst part about being in jail is I think dudes feel like they have to be part of something. I mean, a lot of dudes, they join the blood sets or the Crip sets or become Muslim or something like that. I mean, I became a 5%er, I mean, and I only did that because I prayed a lot and that's what came to me. I didn't do that to click up and need help or none of that. I think that's probably one of the worst parts of prison, other than the COs. COs always want to give you a tough time on the tough time that you already going through, you know what I mean? But, I mean, there's plenty of things. The food, I can go on I can go on for eons about this shit, man.
All right, so you touched down after that 5-piece. So you're in on a probation violation. So I take it you get out, you got no probation, you didn't get the parole, you just got free?
Right.
Or do you feel like that was a good thing for you?
Yeah.
Okay, do you feel like you did the right thing with it? Or
I feel like I did the right thing with it. I'm here now.
so what were some of the first things that you wanted to get done and do? You know, you get your ID.
Yeah,
What are some other things that you got?
I needed to get my identity back, rekindle relationships with family, peers, like life. When I went in, I was still a teenager or whatever. So granted, it was only 5, but even before the 5, I was only out for a very, very, very short period of time. I won't expose it because I'm embarrassed about it, but the people know. But yeah, me, I was only out for a very short period of time. So I basically just, people call me 7 years.
Right, yeah.
Some of my peers call me 7 years. This is more than the tat. It's a whole lifestyle. So
the God number.
Yeah. So yeah, like.
So how long until you dived into the recording studio? Was that something you was able to do right away, or did you have to kind of play that
before that, like I said, I had to get my identity. I've always wanted to dive into the music. Music that's been me my whole life.
Okay.
I've been listening to Tupac and DMX, those dudes, my whole entire life. I've always was infatuated with how people relay lyrics and spit bars and stuff like that. I just couldn't do it.
Right.
So my brother asked me one day, "You don't rap, bro?" I'm like, "No, I don't rap." So, you know what I mean? I ran into dudes rapping in the jails and stuff like that, and I started writing my music down on paper. You know what I mean? I fell in love with it.
What's your favorite thing about the whole process, man?
I love the message or the story behind whatever the person is saying.
Right.
Like me, I feel like I'm a lyricist. I come different many ways. I might give you a club, trap, whatever, but I like hearing what the person is speaking about. I mean, and you can go back on it is the best part.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go back on the old music and be like what you were going through in that point in time of your life.
What are you looking forward to the most as far as pursuing the music and the career?
I want it all, man. Like, I feel like this was my taking. I want it all. Like, whatever it is as far as this music thing has to offer, I want it. The whole business of it. You know, I want the clothing line, the ownership of the label. I want all of that. Giving back to the community. You know what I mean? No Diddy shit and none of that, but I mean, I want it all. I don't care about the fame and none of that, but I feel like music is what's gonna change me to give back to everything that I've taken in life. And I mean,
Absolutely.
I feel like it's gonna be done through music, whether it's me speaking it or not, or me playing the back of it.
And everything that you've been putting out, is this all working towards like an album that you're putting together, or is it just throwing the songs out?
This is free smoke. This is free whatever, y'all.
That's what's
Just
up. Yep.
giving y'all free rec right now,
Absolutely.
man.
Absolutely.
I'm working on something, but y'all,
Okay.
man, I'm just dropping whatever right now, man. I might hit the studio on the way back home and record something. I got stuff in the archive I could just throw verses on right now. And I don't like no structure when it comes to this.
Yeah.
I don't think there is no structure.
Right.
Man, I'm just giving y'all whatever I think I should give y'all.
What about performances? You ever performed on stage, live,
did.
and events and everything like that? So talk about that. Talk about like what that experience is like, especially coming from
That's the thing right now.
prison to now you on the stage, and that's gotta be a good feeling.
That's what we doing right now. Me, More, Day Heat, Arthur Supreme. That's what we feel like we just going on a tour.
Yeah.
All the songs we got, the songs that people like hearing us record or perform and such like that, we just doing that. So I love performing. I've been performing since my first performance was about 2020, I think.
Okay. Was there any like nerves that came along with that?
Hell yeah. My first performance was, that shit was, I fucking shit the bed. I didn't know what to do. I'm up there drunk as shit, doing the worm. Bro's mad at me and mad at bro. He's not performing. We at K's Oasis and it's in the hood. They ain't really feeling the music we spitting. They want to hear the reggae and the R&B. We giving you the trap. So I had to go through that type of stuff. But that's learning. That's a learning experience. But now I just go up there and I feel like I'm just looking in the mirror and I feel like the energy's feeling where I'm coming from now. I put in enough reps.
When's the next time you're gonna perform this? You got something already lined up?
Nah, I don't.
Okay.
I don't have anything lined up, but I'm definitely gonna be popping up. Like maybe around like 17th, 22nd. I do special guest performances. Like I might pop up with dudes whenever, or I might pop up on a flyer in 2 hours from now. I'm working.
Got you.
I'm definitely working.
So you wrap up this state bid. What year was that?
2014.
2014.
I wrapped up my state bid.
So that's a while ago till now.
Right.
So do you manage to stay out of trouble that whole time?
No, like I said, I'm fighting a gun charge right now.
Okay.
It's pending. I'm fighting one of those right now. That's the only thing. But I can say from wrapping up that state bid. But nothing
in between that you had to go do any more time? Maybe.
Yeah. I was in a raid. I got raided. Boys ran in, found guns and drugs, all type of paraphernalia, contraband, and things of that nature.
Yeah.
I had to fight one of those cases. I beat that case. By the good graces.
Was you able to fight that from this side, or did you have to sit
both sides? I sat in there for about 18 months before I bailed out.
Yeah. That's a little bit right
They had my bail at like $75,000, something like that for the raid.
So would you get a bail reduction?
Yeah, I ended up getting a bail reduction, bailed out. Then I ended up taking it to trial. Taking it to trial, cracked it, smacked him down.
Okay.
2020, I beat the case. It took me 3 years to beat that case.
So talk about your confidence level, I guess, going into trial. Like, what's your lawyer telling you? Is it this? What's going on?
For the most part,
that you were gonna.
Yeah, for the most part, man, that shit, man. It's like the feds, man. Same thing here, man. They wouldn't get us, man, if we just took that shit to trial, man. Take that shit to trial, man. Fuck the judge, man.
Right.
Most of the time, they don't even got us. And when they think that they got us or act like they got us, they don't have us.
Yeah.
They're just putting on a scare tactic to get you to plead out. And that's why they have you sitting there for so much time in the county, which makes a lot of dudes want to plead out to get it over with.
Right.
You know what I mean? I take everything to trial. Ever since I pled out and I went through what I went through, and I've learned that they don't be having me. I got caught red-handed on shit before, and I've taken it to trial and I cracked them.
Yep.
know what I mean?
That's the thing a lot of people don't realize too, is like if everybody who had open case right now in the state were to go to trial, they wouldn't even have the resources to even handle that. It would
Come
it would like
on.
glitch the system.
Yeah, not even that. If you know they don't got you and you know that there's a possibility that you know that the evidence that they got presented don't fit, you good.
I mean, it's still a chance too, because I've had people come up here wrongfully convicted that sat for 30 years. You know what I mean? You've seen it too from on the inside. So
I've seen it. I met a couple dudes that a lot of dudes that you had up here, a couple dudes, and I've seen them. I've seen them go in innocent as whatever, you know what I mean? They come home and they be like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shit hard.
Why do you think it is so many people like to just plead out?
Man, I couldn't tell you, bro. These dudes have different reasons, and I hear a lot of stories, and I feel like they're just going with whatever, man. They don't even know, you know what I mean? They're just going with the flow. You know what I mean? As long as there's light at the end of the tunnel, that's what they're going to take, and that's what I wanted to say. I'm the person that wouldn't plead out, and I don't recommend pleading out, but there's dudes that need to plead out, you know what I mean? Because not all of us can win. You know what I mean? So if you think they got you, take that plea, bruh. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of dudes, to answer your question, they just pleading out because of the light at the end of the tunnel.
Right.
They might be facing some time that they don't want to do, or they think they can't do, or they might have a hard bed, no family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? After you doing time and doing time and doing time and doing time, your family start answering that phone. Them kites or that mail call, your name start getting called after a certain amount of time if you keep going up in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, this
I mean, so what's that feeling like for the people who might not know when, you know, they walk by your door, they just look, they got the mail, and you don't get no mail, man. I feel like it's a lonely feeling, man.
That shit hurt, brother. When no pink slips coming in and you ain't hear that paper sliding on your floor, or your name being called when they do a drive-by. It's called a drive-by when they walk by your cell.
Yep.
It hurts.
Absolutely. And
you feel like nobody love you in the worst predicament that you're going through.
Yep.
You're forgotten.
And the emails are free now, so make sure y'all get up on the
definitely hit the e-message up, hit the Securus, man. Dudes is in there. I'm still tapping in with dudes into the Securus right now, dudes.
Christmas packs coming soon.
Yeah, man. Hit dudes up. Dudes need love. Dudes in there hurting. Innocent dudes I'm seeing still.
Yeah.
I mean, and fuck the innocentness. Some of us had to do some of the things that we've done.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right, but you pay the price and then you move on, you know?
Right, that's it.
That's what it's about as being a man, is taking accountability for your actions. And then, but once you do your time for that, that's it. You did your time for it. They shouldn't be able to hold that against you no more. And we're trying to do, you know, the right thing moving forward. If somebody come home today, man, and they ask you for some advice on like the best way, like how you manage to stay out, man, right now, like what are some things you would tell them? Even like, you know, you messed up too a couple times. Like what are some things you would tell them to maybe not make those same mistakes, or to, you know, I mean, you're still on this side, so you're still doing better than a lot of people.
Side,
so
man.
you can still give advice.
And I'm still, like I said, I'm still fighting. This is a war where it's a war, man. They might win a couple battles, but as long as you keep that fight, man, just keep fighting. But for dudes coming home now, or that have claimed home already, just stand firm and stay focused and stay out the way. And for me, now I'm just staying away from people that I feel like have a negative influence over me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I'm very much into the streets.
Yeah.
But I feel like that transition is taking a toll on me. So I'm over here with it now. You know what I mean? I have a family and kids, and I have shit to lose. I feel like this is a big part for me. This music thing can be a big part for me in my life and a career.
Yeah.
I take it serious, so I just stay focused and I stay away from people that I think are gonna get me in trouble, because a lot of the times I got in trouble because of someone else's due diligence, and I had to not say, oh, this is this person. I had to stand. I had to hold water. I had to swim.
Yeah.
And I had to stand firm and be a man in the situation. So now I try to stay away from any person that's willing to crash out. I don't deal with the crashes.
So how and when does this mind state start to change to where you kind of say to yourself, maybe I should stay out the way. Maybe if this don't involve me, let me just stay over here and do my thing. Let me do the music thing. When does that?
when
Start
I'm
the
sitting
shift.
in that cell, I'm starving or I'm calling home and I'm stressing. I can't see my daughter. My family don't love me. And even when I'm out, I'm so much of a revolving door with the recidivism rate at a higher level that when I was getting placed in there and coming home, my family didn't want any involvement with me because I was nothing but trouble.
Yeah.
So now that I started, that's why I said I'm glad I did wrap up the bid, because after I wrapped the bid up, I started staying home longer. No probation, no parole, nothing hanging over my head. That's a setup. You know what I mean? So I started staying home longer and I started taking my life more serious.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So that's what really helped me to be where I'm at now with it.
Okay, so say everything goes according to plan. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years, I'm gonna have 1 or 2 major hits on the charts. I mean, I'm gonna be up there in 5 years, definitely. Album drop too. I mean, I got a couple ideas of some albums, a couple mixtapes. Got the BeenG and BeenG mixtape. Got the I was gonna drop this joint called The Remedy, but somebody already, I think Jagged Edge, somebody has that name, and me being different, I don't ever like giving the title of somebody that has something or something. I like being different. If I do a title that they already got, it wasn't meant to be. So I'm just coming up with things that I go through in lifestyles and a name. That's all I'm coming. So
what's the main message that you wanted to get across by telling your story today?
I just feel like my main message is just, man, stay you, man. Be you and don't let nobody derail you from what you got going on.
Yeah.
Because if you ain't gonna live your dream, you gonna live someone else's dream.
Right.
That's how I feel. So just be the best version of you and just go hard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What works for you might not work for your peer.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So I feel like the message that I want to give is that just keep going.
Okay.
Just keep going, man.
That's it.
Keep going and free dudes, man, behind that hoosky, man.
Absolutely, man.
Free the real dudes I never told.
Why is it important for you to come up here and tell your story?
It's important because my story hasn't been told yet. We all have a story, but my story is its own exclusive story. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's important also because someone else might be able to relate, and I might be able to get somebody to further in life.
Yeah.
With just one of my lines, whatever they heard or something.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So if there was anything else that you wanted to touch on, maybe we didn't get a chance to.
We could talk about that on a different podcast, because I definitely wanted to come back up here with a group of people.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. You already know.
That. But I just wanted to shout you out, man.
I appreciate
Shout out
that,
B
bro.
Dog, dudes. He's holding it down, man, for the dudes that's coming home and that's trying to stay focused and ain't got no resource or a platform to be heard.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's what I really wanted to say. And if nobody said that, I wanted to give my
Appreciate
shout out and my flowers to you.
Thank you. Yes.
You heard, and I appreciate you for having me up here.
For sure. For
On
sure.
dog.
This is our platform.
That
you
dog.
got something you could spit for the camera, bro? I could have
spit
told you.
some balls for the camera.
Yeah.
I said,
Let's go.
I'm a G. I go gonzo for the grams. A goni getting green genius, gaining guap, selling grams. A go-getter. I'm great with flipping that jabble. Cause he speaking my language, cause they cup a half a gaggle. Fiends get ghosts. They be hide in the galaxy. Artistic flow got you picturing the gallery. 49s. Leave you back running with the gore. Cause I'm a G. Glitz attracting girls galore. Globe General, they going gonzo for the genitals. Going hard on the paint. Nice with the give and go. Get the goodies, then I'm gone. Gotta keep it genuine. Silverback gorilla. Gangsta and a gentleman. Liquid oxygen. So you can kiss the game goodbye. Guarantee that Great MacGyver's gonna be that guy to hold it down for my kin. Yeah, we all G's. One real religion is true. It's in my fucking genes.
Let's go. Boston got
Me.
bars, baby, for y'all that don't know. Frank Benji, thank you, bro.
You already know. I appreciate you, dog.
Thanks for coming up, guys. So there it is, Frank Benji right there. I'm your boy B Luke. This has been the Bounce Back Podcast. Remember, it is what it is. What's next? That's what you make it. On that note, we out of here. Peace.
Peace.
got 'em on, man. When they see you down,